to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Nice article up on playpicks.com for you guys with some best bets, DFS strategy stuff we'll talk about here in just a sec. As always, make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Jump in the comments. We are going to give you another gift card prop tonight, as it was pretty hard to guess the Atlanta Hawks versus Suns game last night. We asked you for the amount that the team would win by and who the winning team was. Nobody, it's not unsurprisingly, got 32 points in a win for the Hawks. So we'll carry that over to a prop that we'll give you here in just a sec. And as always as well, if you do need a FanDuel or DraftKings account still, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find all those listings in your area. Nate, let's get into it for the 6th of May.
Yeah, my bad. Anybody who bet on the Suns there last night, I guess they had nothing left on that road trip. But we'll try to get it back tonight. Yep. Starting with the Bulls, minus 3.5 at Hornets. Zach LaVine expected to return. Big news there. Nets minus 4 at Mavericks. No Kristaps Porzingis expected there. Plus 3 are the Wizards at the Raptors, who Lord knows what they're doing, but OG Anunoby is doubtful. Grizzlies minus 9 at Pistons, who are resting everybody with any experience in the NBA. The Hawks minus 6 at Pacers. The Thunder are plus 14 at the Warriors. And then the showdown at Staples, Lakers plus 8 without Schroeder or LeBron at the Clippers. Josh, what is the angle you see there in that primetime matchup?
Yeah, it's fun that's a primetime matchup. It's the one I feel most comfortable about. I think you've got a little bit of little brother, big brother going on. The Clippers have the opportunity to sweep the Lakers. And we know, as you said, no Schrader and no LeBron tonight. Taylor Horton-Tucker also questionable. And then the other guys playing are also nursing some nagging injuries. They are probable, AD, Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Marc Gasol. They're all just nagging injuries. And I don't like how this is shaping up for the Clippers tonight, for the Lakers tonight, as this is the first game of a back-to-back. They'll take on the Blazers tomorrow. They are in jeopardy of losing even the 5th seed right now in the West. So, what you look at what they've done since LBJ went down, not great. 9-13 straight up. They're averaging 112 with LeBron on the floor, 105 points per game without him. What's interesting is that in 19 of their last 22 games without LeBron playing at all, they either cover and win, or they fail to cover and they lose. And I'm seeing that trend tonight for them, probably a blowout in my opinion. I think they'll give up early in the event that, this turns ugly quick. And I think it's very possible. You look at what's really weird for them as well. They're turning the ball over at the 3rd highest rate this year. Very, odd for a LeBron team. Also, really bad at their effective field goal percentage. And then at the end of the day, the Clippers are still the Clippers. They've got the 3rd best net rating, the 2nd best offensive rating in the league. They continue to just shoot threes at an insane clip. You see what their team is doing, shooting almost 42% from 3-point this year. You've got Batum, Pat Bev, Reggie Jackson, and Marcus Morris all shooting 30% plus from 3. I think you could see a barrage of those tonight. I would consider the Clippers total before I would take anything, because I don't think the Lakers are going to be able to put up many points tonight. I feel very fine with 7 points or so in there, and would consider the Clippers point total as well.
Yeah, Clippers over 109.5, I think, on DraftKings seems pretty appealing, because that's a great way to hedge against, maybe a close game that does wind up being high scoring down the stretch, but maybe just a blowout, as you mentioned. That's a really good point about the schedule, because the game tomorrow for the Lakers means more. This game obviously means a lot for the Clippers, just because they're trying to get over that big brother thing. But the game tomorrow for the Lakers, it could be a 2-point swing essentially in that race to not finish 7th. So I think that they could pack it in early. They could rest guys who are dealing with nagging injuries if this gets out of hand. I'm a little scared, as always, of plus 8. The underdogs have covered recently in this blood feud. So I love minus 8 for the Clippers, minus 4 if you can tease it down with another game, perhaps with this game with the Atlanta Hawks. Now there's a couple opposing trends happening here as the Hawks go on a back-to-back in Indiana. One is the Hawks have been absolutely awful on the road after dominating at home. But the other is the Pacers are just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. Nate Bjorken is in desperate flailing mode, apparently, with Woj reporting that he might be fired soon. So they dropped their pace, which was just at a blinding league leading pace, just went all the way down to what would be 12th in the league last night, and they went way under against the Kings. So the total is a total wild card for me tonight because of that. You just don't know how the Pacers are going to come out. But I do know they're going to struggle down low and especially struggle to stop Clint Capella with Miles Turner out. Indy is dead last in rebounding rate since the All-Star break. The Hawks are seventh. So a Clint Capella double-double, which he's done in 17 of his last 19 games, gets you minus 120 at FanDuel. That's a great hack to get around the money line there, so to speak. But I absolutely trust the Hawks to win against losing teams. They're 22-9 in that situation, and they've covered in 8 of their last 9. And they're 9-4 against the spread after their last 13 wins. Now, that perhaps that overcomes their struggles on the road. Perhaps the fact that Indy is just 8-23 against the spread at home this season and really is struggling defensively without Turner will help them snap that trend. So again, yeah, I like a teaser, Hawks -2, Clippers -4, or just taking a parlay, a double-double there from Capella to get better odds.
Yeah, Clint Capella still very quietly having a really, really, really great season, putting himself in the conversation of top 5 centers in the league for sure. That game is not going to be that much fun to me, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of watching that game, but I do feel the Hawks a bit more than the struggling Pacers without a bunch of players tonight as well. Speaking of teams without a couple of players important tonight, you look at that Nets matchup versus the Mavs. The Nets reeling a bit after losing 3 in a row right now. Obviously, without James Harden, they're a different team. This year it's very, very glaring without James Harden. Since they've gotten him in the trade, they are 9-10. When they do have him, they are 27-7. You look at why they struggled against the Bucks in their last 2 losses to them. Giannis just goes off and is able to score down low and open everything up for other for shooters around him. I don't know who's going to do that for Dallas tonight, as they're without KP and Maxi Kleba down low. Really going to struggle with that defensive presence or anyone, ability to score down low, which is really at the end of the day, a huge Achilles heel for the Nets. So I like what I've seen from them. I'm really looking at the total a bit, as these two teams have been putting up some really good offensive numbers lately. You look at the Nets specifically, we know what they do on offense, in the top 3 in most shooting categories: effective field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, etc. Dallas's defense has been struggling, especially of late, 21st in defensive rating, specifically in their non-garbage time minutes when it matters. The Nets haven't been good on defense at any point all season, barring like a few small stretches of some decent play here and there. So I am looking for Harden and Durant and Irving to put on a show tonight. And I do think you'll be able to see, potentially Luka match that. I am going to eye the small spread there of 4 points for the Nets. But, if you like the total as well, as I said, I'm definitely going to go over there rather than under at a decent, I believe we're at about 225 or so right now for that spread. So depending on where you find it. But 35. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 34 and a half, not 25. That would be absurd. But I still feel points tonight in this game. And I do want to say that is what I'd like to make the gift card tonight. Make sure you are liked and subscribe to the page rather to be eligible for said gift card, and give us the total combined points of Luka and Kyrie tonight in that Nets game for the opportunity to win that gift card. Anything you're seeing in that game, Nate, specifically?
Yeah, I'm seeing a trend where the Nets have only lost consecutive games 5 times all season. And that third game has gone over every time. They did lose a third consecutive against Milwaukee, and it actually was a push if you had 242 for the total. But I think, the way they respond is by getting buckets, right? I mean, so Kyrie, KD going to step up tonight. They're going to force Dallas to come out of their defensive shell, which they have done recently. I mean, you saw a game that hit 250 against the Wizards. I think we could see another game that has some offensive explosion. So I like the over there. Good call.
Yeah, small ball tonight for sure.
Yeah, small ball. Dwight Powell stepping up. And speaking of the Wizards, they're looking to win an 11th straight against a team with a losing record. But the Raptors have been their daddy. They have won 9 straight against Washington. Over in 8 straight games before their April 5th meeting, which ended 103-101, You say, what's up with that? No Bradley Beal, no Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, or OG Anunoby.
Yeah.
All those guys should play tonight. OG is doubtful, however, and Lowry just was benched. Coach's decision in the Raptors last game. So that's just kind of a red flag of are we still playing for something, or do we just want to go home and get the hell out of Florida? Because who wouldn't? Shout out to anyone listening who's in Florida. But the point is, the Wizards have no letdown on back-to-back, averaging 122 points per game in 7 of those situations since the All-Star break. They're 14-7 against the spread when they have a rest disadvantage. They're 20-12 against the spread when they're underdogs. And they score in droves when Bradley Beal is healthy. I haven't seen a discrepancy this big with any player. Their offensive rating jumps from 101 to 113 when Beal plays. They average 11 more points per game, up at 117. So they can hit their average tonight with Beal in the lineup and go over the team total at DraftKings with 116. And I'm just seeing a correlation here. I'm not sure whether it's going to go high scoring or low scoring, but I am pretty sure that if it's high scoring, the Wizards are going to win. And if it's low scoring, the Raptors are going to win. So those parlays, Wizards in the over plus 340 at DK, or if you want to go the other way, which the Raptors have gone under in 6 straight home games. So they would get plus 225 to win and keep this game under. But I don't see them stopping the Westbrook Beal tandem, especially with OG out.
Yep. 100%. I'm actually going to really enjoy watching that game continue to find some value on the Wizards as they are improving. And their numbers on the season are definitely distorted when considering the fact that Beal and Westbrook have not played together very often until as of late. And you've seen what that's meant for them, a bunch of wins and a bunch of points. Anything in that game specifically for DFS or any other places in the league tonight?
I'm riding Brad Beal again. Yeah, he was a fantastic play at his price last night, and he's slightly cheaper. I would play Fred VanVleet as long as you watch the injury report closely because we just don't know what's up with Lowry. I mean, he's been banged up. Maybe he sits a little. We mentioned Dwight Powell with no Porzingis. He should have a pretty big night. I like Bogdan Bogdanovic in the Hawks game because Gallinari can't do much on back-to-backs at this age, and Herter is hurt. The Pistons, as I mentioned, are resting almost half their team. I think they have 7 active players tonight or something like that. So you can obviously play any of those guys and have a pretty good floor. Frank the Tank, Sekou Doumbouya, Isaiah Stewart probably has the most upside of those guys. And I'm calling a nice Rondo game against the Lakers, right? I mean, he does what he does. Let's see him pull one out for the Clippers.
Yeah, and I like the Clippers tonight in a blowout personally, meaning I do think you'll see some garbage time for a bunch of players on the Clippers who are going to get some minutes as they are very, very healthy finally with just Ibaka as the only player listed not playing for them tonight. That is all the time we have for today. Nate, as we mentioned, there is a gift card opportunity. Make sure you're liked and subscribed to the page. Jump in the comments. Let us know the combined point total of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic in that Nets and Mavs game tonight. We'll be back with another video to end the week for you guys tomorrow. And as for tonight, happy betting.